Welcome to the Global Travel Planning Podcast. Your host is founder of the Global Travel Planning website, Tracy Collins. Each week, Tracy is joined by expert guests as she takes you on a journey to destinations around the world, sharing travel inspiration, itinerary ideas, and practical tips to help you plan your next adventure. Join us as we explore everywhere from bustling cities to remote landscapes, uncover cultural treasures, and discover the best ways to make your travel dreams a reality.
Hi everybody and welcome to this special Best of 2025 episode of the Global Travel Planning Podcast. So it's going to be a roundup of kind of everything on the podcast and also about our travels and kind of, I guess, a bit about, who we've had on the podcast as well, because it's been a really exciting year. Doug's here.
Hello there.
So Doug is joining me on the podcast now. You will have heard him throughout the year. He's been on quite a few episodes talking about the different places that we visited and sharing some tips about train travel in particular.
Yeah, it's always about train travel with me.
Yeah. So Doug obviously is a resident train expert on UK travel planning and obviously on global travel planning as well. But so this year we've done a lot of travel. There's been a lot of stories. There's been some fantastic global adventures. In fact, I was thinking about it and I managed to set foot on 6 out of 7 continents in 2025. I think you were on 5.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, which is crazy. Not that I'm a big one for counting countries or continents, but I have to say I'm quite impressed myself.
You did actually buy a flag for the last one.
I know, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. I get torn between this kind of counting countries, not counting countries. I don't know how thoughtful. You have to do it thoughtfully, I guess, is the question. I don't know. I don't want to just be ticking things off a list. Anyway, so this year, I guess we went weekly on the podcast, so that was something different.
Yeah, really good.
But I am going to there's a bit of an announcement around that the end of the podcast, because it has actually been rather difficult, because I do this podcast every week, and also we've got the UK Travel Planning podcast every week, which has been quite incredible, because we've had to I don't know, we've recorded episodes in all sorts of places, hotel rooms all over the world, haven't we?
Yeah. Didn't we actually record one in different countries?
Yes, we recorded where you were in a different country from me, which is kind of normal, because a lot of the podcast episodes I do with people around the world, they're not sitting in my office at home. So
but we're usually together.
We are usually together to do episodes. But yes, we've done a number of episodes where we've been separated by not only continents, but incredible number of hours. Oh, dear me.
It's the hours of the tricky bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so this year we've released 51 episodes. Obviously, we had last week off, which was really great to have a bit of downtime over Christmas. So I hope you guys had a really good time over the holidays. And obviously, we're heading into 2026.
Wow.
Can you believe it? So 51 episodes this year. We now have a total of 86 episodes out. We are now close down to 50,000 downloads.
Wow.
Yeah, as we're heading into 2026, which is really cool for a podcast which is kind of general travel. Yep. Our UK Travel Planning podcast this year, we crossed 500,000 downloads, which is fantastic. So if you are planning any travels in the UK, I would pop over and follow the UK Travel Planning podcast. Now, I'm not sure where you're listening from, but we have had listeners from 138 countries and territories around the world listening to the podcast.
That's amazing.
Isn't it incredible? We're talking about not counting countries, but I'd actually probably like to visit all 138 countries and territories at some point, because I'm definitely not up to that number, for sure. So most of you are from Australia, the United States, the UK, Canada, and New Zealand. So hello to you guys, but also hello to everybody else from around the world. Let us know where you're listening from, where we want to hear. So get in touch via SpeakPipe and say hello. We do love listening to all those messages. So as I say, every download, every message, and every share really means the world to us. So thank you for being part of our growing global community.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Yes. So we're going to have a quick look back at the top episodes of 2025. So if you've missed any of these, maybe go and have a look back, download them, and take a listen. So interestingly, our top episode of the year was our episode about Sri Lanka.
Yeah, it was. We thoroughly enjoyed that.
We really
enjoyed visiting
we
there. For the first time for both of us as well.
Yeah, we did. And actually, Sri Lanka was somewhere that's kind of always been on my bucket list to visit. And so we had a lovely trip to Sri Lanka. Actually planned pretty last minute.
It was really.
So if Sri Lanka is on your 2026 visit list, I would take a listen to that podcast. We are actually planning to do some more Sri Lanka episodes as well, particularly talking about trains in Sri Lanka.
Yes, we did. We did a few fantastic train journeys there and a few other things as well, not just train journeys. And it's sort of sowed that seed in my head. Want to do more? Got to do more.
Yes, well, more train journeys for sure, but also we're going to share some tips about a lot of these trips that we've taken in terms of focusing on the trains, because we have been asked a lot by SpeakPipe. People have got in touch and said, can you share a little bit more about how you organised that?
Yep.
So then the second top episode this year was with a guest, Helen, who came on, who is our Japan expert friend, and she came on to talk all about top tips and insights for first-time travellers to Tokyo in Japan. So Helen will be coming on in 2026 to talk more about Japan, and you can find out more about tips from our website. Obviously, that we have got quite a lot on global travel planning about travel to Japan, but Helen Foster is our expert, and she's at Japanese.com, so you can check her out there, and she's on Facebook as well. So thanks to Helen to come on. That was a fantastic episode. Japan, I guess, is on our to revisit list, isn't it?
Most definitely. Again, trains. It was on my bucket list to get to Japan to experience the Shinkansen services, and wow, I was not disappointed.
No, unfortunately, Japan was a place we went to in 2024. So. And then our third top episode downloaded for 2025 was our Spain travel tips, which again was our trip report from our trip to Madrid, Seville, and Barcelona in March.
It was, and Sitges.
And Sitges, of course, we're just south of Barcelona. So if you're planning to visit Spain in 2026, I'd take a listen to that episode.
Most definitely.
So our fourth top episode and kind of close runner-up for 2025 was our 15 essential Europe travel tips for first-time visitors.
Most definitely, yeah. We covered a lot of very important topics in that.
Yeah, we did. So there will be more coming about different destinations in Europe in 2026. So it's quite interesting. So we had Sri Lanka, Japan, Spain, and then kind of Europe general as our most popular episodes. So again, next year there'll be a lot more focus on those destination travel stories and travel tips. Basically looking to share not only kind of destination guides from people who live there, know the place or visited, really, know it in depth, but also sharing a lot of our own kind of travel experiences as well, and travel tips.
Yep.
And Doug will be talking a lot more about trains as well.
Yes, I have experience in lots and lots of different countries, but with trains.
Yeah, you do. So that we know that is certainly growing. There's a lot of growing interest in train travel.
It really is globally, train travel, particularly because of the green element. It's just a growing industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Right. Okay. So those are our top episodes. If I haven't mentioned one of your top episodes, get in touch via SpeakPipe. Tell me what episodes resonated with you in 2025. So I'm just going to do a quick recap of our travel, because we did do a lot of travel in 2025. I should say 2026, potentially we're not going to be traveling quite as much.
Yep.
Mainly because it was a bit crazy this year. It was a lot. We do actually need to spend some time on, it's very easy to travel quickly and not to reflect thoughtfully. And I know this is something I talked to Amanda Kendall from the Thoughtful Travel podcast a lot about, actually reflecting and really enjoying your experiences. I think by later on in the year, I was starting to feel a little bit burnt out with travel, which sounds crazy. And I know people are probably going, what? How can that happen? But it does. It does. You just can get, it can be a lot more tiring than I think people expect to do it kind of the full time. I guess we've been doing it recently.
Yeah.
So we started off the year, actually we ended 2025 by flying from Budapest into Edinburgh, where we spent the first 6 weeks of 2025.
That's right. We're based in Edinburgh mostly for that. I travelled up and down the country a few times by train, obviously, whilst you stayed there, and then we consolidated, and then sometimes you went out and I stayed, and so we did quite a few different trips out. We did some itinerary consults as well while we were there. Yeah,
we did a lot of itinerary consults for UK travel.
I went across to Belfast as well.
You did, yeah. So that'll be coming to YouTube soon, to our UK travel planning YouTube channel. There'll be a lot coming on that. So I went down to London for a few days, came up on the Caledonian Sleeper, but I'll talk about that in a little bit.
And I was stranded in Inverness.
Yes, with the weather wasn't great, was it? Yeah,
the weather closed in.
So that was basically the first 6 months of the year. Then we followed that up, I guess, with the next 6 weeks. So we're talking kind of end of February, mid-February until the end of March, where we headed to 2 new destinations for both of us, and that we went to Morocco, for which we thoroughly enjoyed on an Intrepid tour, which was fantastic.
Met some lovely people.
We did. That was brilliant. So we've got that, as I said, was another very popular episode of the year. And then we flew from Marrakesh to Madrid and travelled round from Madrid down to Seville, then over. So we've both been to Spain a number of times before, and then we travelled across to Portugal by bus, which was an adventure.
An adventure stroke experience.
Unfortunately, our time in Portugal was a bit marred by not fantastic weather.
That's right.
So we did spend a bit of time in Lisbon, and then went up to Porto. So Portugal, we need to come back and see more of you. Because unfortunately, as I say, the weather did not really behave the time we were there.
No, and then we were coming back into Spain, and that was marred, unfortunately, by train strikes.
Yep.
So, but it's just proved the point. You can be flexible. We sort of adapted, moved on,
changed
and
plans.
made the best of it. Yeah,
changed plans instead of taking the train, which is what we hope to do via from Porto via a variety of means. We're going to do different trains to get to Barcelona, cancel that and basically fly to Barcelona. But we had a fabulous time. I will say, standout for me, I loved Morocco. We both loved it, and I will be back in 2026 in Morocco in March. But I loved our time in Seville.
We did. We were fortunate with the weather there as well, but again, neither of us have been to actually Seville. We've been to Spain many times, but neither of us have actually been to Seville in the past.
No, absolutely love Seville. And big thanks to Walks and Devour Tours as well, because we were treated to lots of different tours in Seville, food tours. Fantastic Alba, who took us out did Seville in a day tour with us.
Which is marvellous.
Absolutely, just loved it. It was fantastic. So huge thanks to them for that, because that was brilliant. We spent a little bit of time in Barcelona. Again, actually, we did some food tours for Tracy and Doug, which was amazing. I'm surprised. No wonder I put so much weight on this year. Barcelona, I don't know. It's probably it is so popular. It is so over touristed that I did not enjoy it as much as Seville, I have to say.
No, I'll agree with you there. But how many times I've been to Barcelona and that area before? The walks that we did, I learned more about the local history than I did
previous
before.
times. Well, that's always the advantage of doing a tour.
But part of that the tours is it's food, but it's also history. It's that blend between the two.
Yes. That's what I was all about. Taking the Devour tours are great for that, because you're learning about history, and you get to try the local food and learn about the food and drink as well, which is fantastic.
That's right. The history of actual tapas dishes.
Yes, but also we didn't actually stay in Barcelona. We stayed in Sitges, which was your move, and that was a very good recommendation.
That's right. Sitges was a resort, not really a resort, a holiday resort, I suppose you might call it, for a lot of Spanish people as well. But my childhood was very much involved a summer holiday from the UK to Sitges with my parents. And so it's the first time I've been back in 30, 35 years, probably a bit longer.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great.
You totally embraced the place.
I loved it. Yeah. Absolutely. I'd go back to Sitges tomorrow. Absolutely thought it was beautiful and lovely, and just a lot of character to it. Very lovely. We flew, unfortunately, we had planned to, great plans here again. We had planned to go from Barcelona to Istanbul by train. We just didn't have the time to do it, unfortunately. That is put on the back burner. That is something that we do intend to do at some point. So unfortunately, we had to fly from Barcelona to Istanbul. So Turkey, again, in fact, we did a lot of new destinations for us in 2025. So Turkey as well was new for us. We only had a few days in Istanbul, but it was good. Kind of good introduction. It
was a good introduction. I mean, I was slightly disappointed we didn't do my train with sort of doing the Interrail thing again, which we've done in the past. But on the back burner to do in the future. So Turkey, still enjoyed it.
I had a good time in Turkey, and then we flew. So the intention was to go to stay some time in Sri Lanka. Now, I don't like flying, which always people think is really funny when I say that. But I didn't want to do this journey back to Australia in one go. So hence we were basically kind of wondering how we're doing this. We're kind of hop back, and I didn't want to do any flight that was longer than 5 hours. So the obvious destination to stop between Istanbul and Colombo in Sri Lanka was Qatar. So we stopped off in Qatar for, I think, 3 days.
Yep.
And actually that was just to have a break, have a bit of a rest, because we had been doing a lot of travel. But actually we did take a day and took a private tour around Qatar, which was interesting.
We did a harbour cruise as well, which was really good.
Yeah, we did. So that was a very short trip, but still very interesting to spend that time in Doha. Before then, we headed to Sri Lanka for 3 weeks now. Sri Lanka, as I say, has been our top episode of 2025. And I think Sri Lanka is a destination that, and we speak to so many people who want to visit or have visited and loved it.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I'll say about the place was, what lovely people.
Yes. We met some fantastic people.
Really did.
Huge hello again to Imasha, who was at the hotel that we stayed at in Colombo, in his fab person, still follows us on Instagram. Yep. We did meet some wonderful people in Sri Lanka and stayed in some wonderful hotels, met some just staff of the hotels who just went above and beyond, were just really lovely. Homestay as well, and Candy, and of course lots of train travel.
It ticked every box for me, because a lot of people want to talk about cricket as well, which was fantastic for me. It's like a common language.
Yeah. So after that, we flew from Colombo to Kuala Lumpur, where we'd been before. We spent a couple of days in Kuala Lumpur and then decided we'd head up to Penang.
Yeah, which we've been to before, which we thoroughly enjoyed being there as well. So we took the train from Kuala Lumpur to Butterworth. We did. Which was pretty amazing, I have to say.
Yeah, we have got a podcast about this trip to Malaysia. And then we spent maybe 4 or 5 days, I think it was, or maybe longer, I can't remember now, in Penang, before we then went to Ipoh, which is somewhere we had not been before, on our way back to Kuala Lumpur, and spent, I think, 5 days in Ipoh. Again, food was really good. We love Malaysia. Malaysian people are really friendly.
Really friendly.
And then we headed down to Singapore, was our kind of final stop before we headed back to Australia at that point. And we've got the bus.
We've done this same route before, and we've sat in the same seats on the same
absolutely
route on the same bus possibly. So that's an experience.
I really enjoyed it. However, I believe there's now a direct train that you can get from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore. So I think that might be on your bucket list to try.
That trumps the bus for me.
Yeah, but otherwise we found the bus really good. Yes. So basically we got back into Australia in May. We flew into Perth from Singapore. We then spent a few weeks in Western Australia and actually headed north. We actually hired a car and drove up to Kalbarri and spent a few days up there, which was lovely.
Really
beautiful.
Enjoyed it.
Went via the Pinnacles.
Yep.
So give us a chance to see a little bit of WA before then flying back end of May.
We did. And
then we had June, July and August at home.
Yes.
Incredibly. And then we decided that Doug was going to go to the UK to do some work for our YouTube channel, our UK Travel Planning YouTube channel.
And that was going to be more trains in the UK.
Which it was.
Yeah.
But we decided we were kind of sitting. This is basically probably about a week before we decided to do this. Because we were looking at flights from Perth. Doug decided he wanted to try the 17-hour direct flight from Perth to London. So we're kind of looking about the 12th of September. So this was kind of end of August. And I just kind of went, let's just drive to Perth, shall we?
Randomly.
So everybody thought we were nuts. I was a little bit concerned. We were biting off more than we could chew. We just had the car service, though. So the only thing we had to do was change the, what do you call it? The thing when you turn the car on. The battery. I had to change the battery, so we did that. And we planned our route. We basically spoke to a lot of people and said, right, which is the best way to do this?
Yep.
We've got 10 days to cross Australia. And so, again, we've got a podcast all about that journey. Yep. We had so much fun.
We did. We've done road trips before within Queensland itself. But it's the first time we've driven across to Western Australia or WA.
And that was brilliant. So we went across, went New South Wales, South Australia, into, so obviously starting in Queensland.
Yes.
New South Wales. I actually love the New South Wales outback.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the Queensland outback is my favourite, absolute favourite. But I did enjoy New South Wales outback because we saw lots of animals.
Well, I was just going to say, we've been in Australia 8 years, but we still get a thrill from seeing the wildlife.
Oh, absolutely. I still love Australia so much. And there's so much, and I guess the question people say is like, oh, my goodness, was it boring? Driving for 10 days, you went, I don't know, was it 4,600 kilometres or something like that? I can't remember. It's a lot. No, because the scenery and the geography of Australia changes rapidly.
It does.
So much. You can't believe how much variety in what you can see. Also, we just love looking for animals. There was so many. I don't know how many emu did you see one day? It was like 60 or something?
Some close to about 50, 60.
Yeah, that was in New South Wales. That was crazy. I based myself over in Perth for 6 weeks while Doug went to the UK. US went to the UK.
I went to the UK, and to be honest, that flight, 17-hour flight, didn't really notice it was a 17-hour flight because I tend to switch off and don't really watch much on the TV. But I always download audiobooks, which passes the time for me nicely. And I was fortunate on that flight. There was a couple flying to the UK, and they were from Queensland as well. And we had a lovely chat the entire trip. It was really nice, sort of doze off a little bit, but we kept waking up and chatting, and it was lovely. And we kept in touch, and they sent me a video of their trip around the UK with friends in
because they had a camper van, didn't they? A camper van. So that's really cool. And you can actually listen to that episode where Doug talks about his trip back to the UK on the UK Travel Planning podcast. So I basically stayed in WA. I spent a little bit of time in Fremantle, I love Fremantle. I met up with quite a few friends. And it was really cool. And then you flew back, and then we had to drive we forgot this, you see, driving all the way over. You actually have to come back.
So we did a slightly different route on the way back.
We did it. We actually went to the southern coast of WA to start with. So went to Albany, which we really loved Albany, didn't we? Yes, Esperance. Then up, did the Nullarbor again. I love the Nullarbor. I have to say, people say it's boring, but you know what? I love it.
We thoroughly enjoyed it, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Both times, loved driving on the Nullarbor. It's fantastic. It takes a few days, but enjoy it because I just think it was fantastic. We then went through Adelaide, met up with Josie. Hi, Josie, from Josie Wonders, and then we went into Victoria, and did the Great Ocean Road. Unfortunately, the weather at this point wasn't playing ball. So we had a one rainy day, but we had a fantastic day seeing koala.
We really did. That was lovely. That was good. It's one thing seeing them in the zoo, but seeing them in nature.
And then we drove up through Victoria and met up actually with Carolyn from Holidays to Switzerland, which was really cool. So met up with her. So it was great. It was like meeting up all these other travel podcasters that I know and travel bloggers. And then back through the coast. Oh, actually, no, we went to Canberra. So that means we've been to all 8 states and territories in Australia now.
We did indeed.
So we spent a couple of days in Canberra.
Yep. Visited the War Memorial there, which is very special. Yeah,
and then we came via the coast of New South Wales up back into Queensland, which was cool.
We did. So I think it was about 6,000 kilometres on the way there, and about was it? Oh no,
it was 4,600 there and 6,000 back.
Just over 6,000.
Yeah. So it took us longer. We took 15 days to come back. Yeah. We did it in 10 days going over and 15 back. Yeah. Obviously, I wouldn't do it that fast if we didn't need to, but I had to be back for a specific reason.
Yes.
So I was back 4 days before flying to South America and then catching a boat to Antarctica.
Which I'm jealous about being in Antarctica, but not for the boat ride.
Yeah. So that was my 7th continent. Nice. So Antarctica I'm going to talk about in January. So that there's going to be a whole podcast all about how amazing Antarctica was. Yeah. It was fantastic. Also, it was my first visit to South America. So I didn't spend as much time as I would love to have done in Argentina. Chile, unfortunately, was just a change of plane. But actually, it just highlighted that we will be going back to South America soon.
Yeah, I've not been to South America, so...
Yeah, there's so much to see in South America. So I did see a little bit of Buenos Aires and a little bit of Ushuaia, which was fantastic. And then spent 5 days in Antarctica.
You did. So I should point out you're now an expert on penguins.
I can distinguish 5 different breeds of penguins. I have learned all about penguins. But yeah, that is probably one of the highlights of my year. But yes, it was just fabulous. A fantastic group as well that I went with on the trip. Just loved it. Antarctica kind of was everything and more expected. But I could just do with a bit of that silence a bit more because it was just so wonderfully quiet.
And then you find out 2 of the people you were with actually live around the corner from us.
Yes, I know, which was amazing. I know that was just incredible as well, just finding out literally exactly. So I did go with 12 other Australians, which was really cool, and it was just brilliant. And it's a long flight. It was 4 flights. It was the jet lag really was has finished me off for the year. I think it was really tiring, but you can see more of my pictures and bits and bobs from Antarctica on our Instagram, actually. So Global Travel Planning is on Instagram. Please go and follow us on all of these. If you're enjoying the podcast, please go and support us as well on Instagram. Check out the website, globaltravelplanning.com. YouTube, hopefully next year I'll be able to develop a little bit more on that. We are working really hard, but as I say, it's been a tough year with travel and trying to juggle a lot of the work as well around it. So it doesn't sound, I'm not moaning, by the way. I absolutely love it, so I'm not moaning. But let's just round up our year with our top 3 moments of the year. So what were your top 3 moments, Doug?
Oh, trains, isn't it? It's always going to be trains with me. The train from, this is Sri Lanka, the train from Ella to Kandy, which was just so special on so many different fronts of the actual train itself, with a train with no windows in, and then we're going to the center of the doorways, don't lean out.
I think people have the windows pulled down. I think there was windows.
Yeah, there was some of the ones, the windows were pulled down and bars on, things like that. But yes, you got a good view of the tea
plantations.
It was just, it's hard to describe. You need to be there.
Well, we've got videos, so people can look on YouTube or Instagram and see some videos of it.
It was just a special moment to be caught up in that. You're on a special moment.
Yeah.
And it's one of those train journeys that's shown on TV programs around the world all the time.
Yeah, it's one of those top ones. Other?
Well, the second one is one I've done this year, is called the Night Riviera. So that one, this is a UK one. It's an England one in England. It runs from London Paddington, night train down to Penzance, all the way down the tip of Cornwall. And I've done this train journey many, 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 many times, but it's the first time I've ever taken the sleeper service. And it was just special being at Paddington that late in the evening, the lounge. The staff were absolutely incredible. They were just so obliging, so kind, and so really wanted to put your experience first. So that was a special moment waking up in Cornwall as well.
Perfect. And we actually have got a podcast in the UK Travel Planning, and we've got an episode on the UK Travel Planning podcast all about that trip. And then your third one?
The third one is one we've done this year as well. This is in Malaysia. This is the train journey from Kuala Lumpur to Butterworth.
Yeah.
So we're in first class on that one, and you've got your own little screens and great scenery.
Food? Got food?
They've got food. It was just... it was just marvelous.
It was really very comfortable, that trip, wasn't it? So I think at the moment, we'll probably talk a little bit more in depth of some of these train journeys in 2026 for sure.
Yeah.
So my top 3 moments, kayaking in Antarctica. I actually had booked it and then I chickened out, and then I decided no, I was going to do it. And actually it was absolute highlight for me. Went out kayaking. We were drawn by a leopard seal, which was a bit worrying. So we couldn't kayak until the leopard seal kind of left the area. We then had a minke whale go past, and we had loads of penguins just by the kayak kind of coming up and just swimming. It was just so cool, and it was just so beautiful. And a big hello to Maggie who joined me in the kayak. It was fantastic. Second one was seeing a leopard in Sri Lanka. I think there's an animal thing going on here with these, but yes, seeing the actual leopard in Sri Lanka, which took a little bit of doing. We had to go out 2 days in a row to actually try and see it. But wild animal, so you never know what you're going to see.
Yep.
My third one is a train one as well, interestingly, and this is the Caledonian Sleeper. Again, we've got loads of information and podcasts about the Caledonian Sleeper on the UK Travel Planning podcast. But I deliberately just chose this trip because I wanted to wake up in the Highlands of Scotland. So even though we were staying in Edinburgh, I actually took the train, the Caledonian Sleeper Highlander from London up to Inverness, just so I could wake up and see the Highlands, which is what I did. Then I had to jump on the train back to Edinburgh, but it was lovely. I just loved it.
Yeah, I know you did. And that goes from London to Euston.
It's just one of my favourite train journeys throughout the world. That really is.
Yeah.
So those are our top 3. I'm wondering what our top 3 will be next year.
Who knows?
So obviously, just a little bit behind the scenes is that obviously I want to say thanks to everybody who came on the podcast this year, all the guests that have come on. It's been fantastic to talk to you. We've just had some fantastic stories shared, lots of fantastic trips. Just meeting listeners while I've been traveling. We write notes on trains, on ferries, on flights. We're, reaching out across time zones, across continents to arrange interviews with guests from all over the place. We've been discovering every destination has its own story to share. It's just fabulous. And it doesn't matter, you can speak to different people about various destinations, and just listening to what people have got to say is amazing.
It's not always staying in the top hotels and things like that. It's sometimes just the people and scenery and places.
Yeah, so that's basically 2025. Now, just give you a little bit of a heads up for 2026. Okay, so the good news is that we're going to be continuing destination guides and stories from travelers from across the globe. The bad news, I guess, for the first 6 months of the year is that I'm going to have to just rewind a little bit, a bit of self-care here, and I will be doing episodes every other week definitely for the first 6 months of 2026. I'd love to be able to continue to do weekly, but I've just found that it's just been too hard to try and juggle everything. So first 6 months, it will just be every other week. We'd really appreciate your continued support to follow us. I'm sure it's disappointing for some of you who like listening every week, but do tune in the UK one, because we are on the UK one talking every week. But I just had to make that decision to kind of just rewind a little bit to because I am pretty exhausted, I think.
There's a lot of work involved.
There is. But you can follow us via our Facebook group, Global Travel Planning. Also on Instagram, Global Travel Planning. And as I said, hopefully we'll get some stuff up on YouTube. Definitely YouTube shorts I'm going to look at, because I know there's a lot of people saying do some stuff on YouTube shorts. But obviously the website, globaltravelplanning.com as well. We're going to be developing a lot more on that throughout 2026. But just want to again say thank you for your support. Thank you for your messages. Again, we've had some fabulous messages via SpeakPipe. Thanks to those of you who sponsor the podcast as well. That's fantastic. And just sharing your love of travel, because that's what makes this community so special.
Most definitely true. Yeah.
So if you've enjoyed the show, please follow, share it with a friend, or leave a quick rating or review, because it really helps other people to find the podcast. But I guess just from myself and Doug, we're just going to say Happy New Year. And we will see you in 2026 for another year of travel, inspiration, exploring the world together. So as we end every episode, happy global travel planning. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Global Travel Planning Podcast. For more details and links to everything we discussed today, check out the show notes at globaltravelplanning.com. Remember, if you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcast app, because your feedback helps us reach more travel enthusiasts just like you. Anyway, that leaves me to say, as always, happy global travel planning.